It began on an ordinary autumn evening. The sky was gray, clouds swelling like bruises, and the scent of rain lingered in the wind. Emma, a quiet girl of 18, had just moved into her late grandmother's old Victorian house at the edge of town. It was the kind of place people whispered about, where lights flickered without reason and the floorboards creaked even when no one walked across them. But Emma, skeptical of ghost stories, didn't believe in any of it. She only saw an old house, worn and waiting. That evening, as thunder grumbled in the distance, Emma unpacked boxes in the upstairs hallway. Among them was a large antique mirror wrapped in dusty fabric. She didn't remember bringing it, but assumed it belonged to her grandmother. Curious, she unwrapped it and leaned it against the hallway wall. The mirror was beautiful but strange. Its frame was carved with vines and icias, actual icen despite its age. The glass was spotless. When Emma looked into it, she noticed something off. She was wearing a blue sweater and jeans, standing still, but her reflection blinked. Emma gasped and turned away. Maybe it was her imagination. She looked back, focusing. This time, her reflection copied her perfectly. She laughed nervously. "Tired eyes," she whispered, turning to walk away. But then the reflection turned its head to follow her, even as Emma looked straight ahead. She froze. Her heart slammed in her chest like a drum. Slowly, she turned to face the mirror again. Now, her reflection wasn't standing like her. It tilted its head to the side, slowly, as if studying her. Emma's breath caught in her throat. "Stop it," she muttered, backing away. The reflection took a step forward toward her, though she herself hadn't moved. That's when the lights in the hallway flickered violently. The air turned cold, sharp like ice against skin. Emma reached for her phone, but it was dead. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. Her legs felt heavy, like something was holding her in place. The reflection began to smile. Then it raised its hand and touched the inside of the mirror, as if pressing against glass, but from the wrong side. Emma stared in horror as a crack formed under its fingers, slowly spiderwebbing outward. And then it spoke. In a voice that sounded almost like hers, but not quite human, it whispered, "I'm not you. I'm what you left behind." The mirror shimmered like water. Emma stumbled backward, crashing into a wall. Her hands fumbled for the doorknob, but it was gone. The hallway around her had changed. She was no longer in her grandmother's house. The reflection was still in the mirror, smiling wider now. It stepped forward again, except this time, its foot slid out of the mirror. Emma stumbled backward, heart pounding against her ribcage as the mirror's surface rippled like water. The voice, her voice, but not quite her still, echoed in the silence of the old house. "I'm what you left behind," the reflection repeated, now smiling with eyes darker than shadows. Emma turned to run, but the door she'd entered through was gone. In its place stood a wall, covered in faded wallpaper, with symbols she couldn't understand. "What's happening to me?" she whispered. The lights in the hallway flickered as she turned away from the mirror. Her breath was heavy, fogging the air like it was freezing, but the house was warm. She tried to scream, but her voice was swallowed by an unnatural silence. Emma moved cautiously, searching for another way out, but the hallway seemed to shift with every step she took. One moment she was near the stairs. The next, she stood in front of a door she was sure hadn't been there before. Drawn by a strange compulsion, she opened it. Inside was a small, dimly lit room. Dust danced in the pale moonlight, seeping through a crack in the boarded-up window. The walls were lined with old photographs, blurred, burned at the edges, or scratched out completely. In the center stood a child's rocking chair, gently swaying, though no one was there. Emma's skin prickled. Then she saw another mirror, this one smaller, older, with ornate carvings around its edge. It was cracked down the middle, and yet she could see her reflection perfectly. Only, once again, it wasn't moving with her. This time, the reflection stood up from the chair while Emma remained still. It raised a hand and pointed behind Emma. Terrified, Emma turned slowly. A tall figure cloaked in shadows stood in the corner of the room. Its face was obscured, but it exuded a dreadful familiarity. It whispered in a low, rattling voice, "You shouldn't have come back, Emma." She backed into the mirror, unable to scream. The figure advanced as the reflection in the glass smiled wider, almost proud. Suddenly, the glass shattered behind her, and cold fingers wrapped around her shoulders from inside the mirror. She gasped as she was pulled backward, the world twisting and warping around her like a dream turning into a nightmare. Everything went black. Emma awoke on a floor she didn't recognize. The mirror was gone, the room now sterile and metallic, like an abandoned hospital. Fluorescent lights flickered above, and the air smelled like rust and decay. She tried to get up, but her limbs were weak. Footsteps echoed in the distances, low, deliberate, heavy. "Where am I?" she cried out. From the shadows, a girl emerged. She looked exactly like Emma, only thinner, paler, and with eyes that held no soul. "You're inside now," the girl said. "Inside what?" Emma asked, her voice trembling. The girl tilted her head. "Inside the mirror." Emma's scream echoed endlessly in the cold, metallic corridor of the mirror world. Her voice didn't sound like her own anymore. It bounced off the walls like something twisted and broken. The place was lifeless, lit only by flickering fluorescent lights. She ran, barefoot, across the strange tiled floor, but every hallway looked the same: rusted walls, peeling paint, and doors that led nowhere. Behind her, the other Emma followed, calm, slow, smiling. "You can't run forever," her voice echoed. Emma darted into a room and slammed the door behind her. It was eerily silent inside. The walls were lined with mirror stall, cracked, and smeared with black handprints, but none showed her reflection. She stood in front of them, waving, shouting nothing. It was as if the glass ignored her existence. A whisper slithered behind her ear. "You're not real anymore." She turned around quickly, but no one was there. Emma's breathing quickened. Her heart raced. Was this a nightmare? Was she even alive? Suddenly, one of the mirrors lit up, and in it, she saw her bedroom back home. Her real home. She saw herself sleeping peacefully in bed, but it wasn't her. It was her reflection, living her life. Her parents checking in, her friends texting her. No one knew she was gone. The mirror version had taken her place completely. "No," she whispered, pounding on the glass. "That's my life." The sleeping version of her opened its eyes and smiled right at her. It knew she was watching. Emma turned and collapsed to the floor, sobbing. The realization sank deep into her bones. She had been replaced, stolen, and no one would ever know. A shadow fell over her. She looked up. The other Emma stood above her, tilting her head with curiosity. "You gave me a body," she said softly. "You gave me a world." Emma shook her head. "You tricked me." The reflection kneeled beside her, touching her cheek gently. "I didn't. You looked into the mirror. You let me out. That's the rule." Emma shoved her away and stood. "There has to be a way back." "There is," the reflection said, rising slowly. "But there's a price." Emma narrowed her eyes. "What?" "You must take my place," she whispered. "Watch. Wait. Until another curious soul finds your reflection." A mirror behind them began to glow. Emma looked into it and saw a young girl standing in a dusty attic, peering into the same ornate mirror. The cycle was beginning again. Her reflection extended a hand. "You can go back. But if you do, the mirror must always have someone inside it." Emma stared at the glowing glass, at the innocent girl, at the twisted truth. Police searched Emma's grandmother's house after her sudden disappearance. They found no clues, only an old mirror, untouched by dust, with strange handprints along the inside of the glass. And if you ever visit that house and stand before that mirror,